It has been a crazy day, and I don't know what you people are doing. I had a majority of 4 in my first tribe of 6. Then I figured out a majority of 7 in my next group of 12. And then you did it again. And then you gave us a tribal council right away. And so now what do I have to do? I have to hold court with these people and try and figure out what we're going to do. But we know what we're going to do, and I'm okay. I'm okay right now. Unless every single person on my tribe is lying to me, which they could be. But I don't think they are.
But I definitely did take a look at those rankings today, and I saw myself in, I think I was in 9th or 10th at least, and there were 9 or 8 people ahead of me who the other tribe ranked as better competitors. And I thought that was really interesting wording, because I think at the end of this season, people are going to want to award the best competitor with the title of Durham Warriors champion. I think this group of super fans definitely isn't going to want people who, slid along. And I think who likes who is not going to be as big of a factor in this competition as in regular Survivor, because, we only get, 72 hours with each other. It's not a great amount of time to make a real impression or get a real impression of who everybody is. And, I think people are going to want to see a resume. They're going to want to see tangible moves that you can point to indicate why you'd be good representation as the winner of this season.
Really surprised by the number 11 ranking that I got. But then I started thinking about it, and the way the tribes got swapped up, I'd only met 4 of the guys. So the guys didn't know who I was, and when you're competing in your own challenges, you're not necessarily watching what everyone else is doing. So I'm thinking maybe that was part of why that ranking happened how it did. But definitely didn't feel that great to be number 11 out of 12.
At first I was really upset about it, and that has changed as time's gone on, because I realized my placement in the game is that I have been with strong women every step of the way. And that's wonderful. I don't know the bottom half of the women, other than, I guess Katie's in the middle, and then,
Don't need to whisper.
Yeah, okay, sorry. My names are floating around in my head. Okay, right. So Katie was in the middle of the lineup, and I did not know her until tonight. And then it was Trisha at the bottom with me. And so Trisha's the only one I'd been with. And when you are in a tribe with 3 former Survivor players, you gotta play dumb a little bit, so that they can lead you around and do that, but then so that you can catch on to their patterns, because they're going to be doing the same patterns on everyone. And so if I use those patterns to my advantage, then I'll be able to do something. And I'm afraid that I already let on that I'm a little bit more strategic than I'd like. I think that was a general comment I got on the first day that I perceive and am aware of. But yeah, I think, because I'm trying to look at parallels, I'm because when you get upset like that, you're okay, think of the past, think of history, that's what I did a lot growing up, because, growing up gay in a Christian family, you think you're going to get sent off to a camp every week, you have to think about the past. Okay, well, how have gay people survived in the past? And the truth is, we're like cockroaches. We always have. And so I thought back, I'm okay, whose game, who is at the bottom at the beginning and rose to the top? I'm Suri. I'm David Wright, to speak of a recent example. So there's good precedent here. The reason I think I was at the bottom is because I was acting like a putz in front of the most powerful woman in the game who I was with, and then I wasn't known by the people in the middle. And I don't know, because, I got pissed off originally. Do you look at my challenge record? I was on the winning tribe for every single one, and that wasn't a coincidence. I lost only 2 challenges, I think. I'm not counting right. There were so many challenges, I can't be sure at the moment. But I was, a crucial part of victory for most of my challenges. I think that being gay and also being afraid of getting dirty, or not wanting to get dirty, which was a strategic play on my part, may have contributed to people thinking less of me as a physical person. And I think that just my weird outlier personality in general may lead people to underestimate me as far as the strategic and social game go. So that's my reasoning for where I got put.
So I'm definitely happy with the tribe I ended up in. I have 3 other people from my original group, plus some people that those people have become close with, so I feel like I'm in a good spot right now. In terms of the ordering, I was not very surprised at where I was ranked by the women. I don't think I've done anything to sort of present myself as a great competitor or a total failure either, so middle to bottom sounds about right. But yeah, I was just hoping to be picked by one of the 2 groups that ended up having a lot of members from my original group that I spent last night with, and this was the one I ended up on, and I was super happy with that. In terms of the order in which I was picked, it didn't really concern me too much, just because of the way the men and women breakdown had to go. I wouldn't have expected to have been picked sooner.
So 2 of the people I probably would have chosen ahead of Nick were also captains. So in looking at the lineup, I had to go down to the next player that I knew was physically capable. I had somewhat of an alliance with and a relationship with from the previous night. We weren't on original tribes together, but we had met when there was that mix-up. So I had a little bit of that going for me. And to be honest, I sort of skipped over John because I started with him and he's a very strong voice on a team. And I thought that perhaps that might be too many chefs in the kitchen.
It's funny because yesterday when I did my confessional, I thought that I was on the bottom of the tribe that I was on from the switch from my original tribe that I was with, and actually ended up being one of the truer alliances that I've formed since I've been out here. So being with Abby and Sunday, and then sticking with my original tribe as well, just focusing on getting to the merge right now is been working out okay so far.
No, I was actually, there's kind of 2 ways where I wanted to go. I either wanted to be on Adam's team or the team that I had ended up on. So it worked out really well for me. Just looking at the relationships on the 2 different tribes and where I felt like I could flourish best. So there are the factions on with Adam's tribe with Adam, Bethany, and Candace. And now I can't even remember who else is there. And then in this tribe over here, the one that I ended up on, I had the prior connection with, I believe it's Nick C. He was in my group of 8 on that first walk into Stump Corral that first day. And it's not like we spent a lot of time together, but, sometimes you just have a feeling where sometimes you just, things feel like you could connect and trust each other. I don't know if the trust is 100% there yet, but there's still that connection that I feel like he's somebody I could work with. And so knowing that he was on that tribe, and Abby was there, and Bethany, myself, Abby, and Sunday had kind of quickly created an arrangement earlier today in the girls' tribe. So we basically, most of us ended up together. So the 3 of the 4 of us ended up together in this new group. So I felt like that had a lot of positive things, and a lot of my original tribe ended up with me as well in terms of Steve and Nick H. So I feel like right now it's all very good because I have lots of options. And for me right now, options are best. It just means I can kind of connect with multiple people and kind of hopefully not be a target for any one person or group of people, hopefully. I'm also making a nice connection with Trisha on this new tribe, which has been really nice. She and I have a lot of similar interests. So we're both teachers, and we both like Harry Potter and have husbands who love Star Wars, and there's a lot of like interesting commonalities there. That's exciting. She can kind of be maybe my little odd person that I kind of keep next to me, that could either be expendable or could be somebody that I could use to help me flip things if the time were right, if I need to turn somebody in power, take them off their throne or something like that. So
What I think is happening, and I don't know this for sure, but I think that Sunday thinks that the girls are going to stick together and they're going to get rid of one of the guys, and then they're going to take it from there. And if Katie's telling me the truth, which of course she could be a liar, but if Katie's telling me the truth, then fine, you can take out one of the guys as long as Katie comes back over with the other three of us. And that would be both Nick's and me.
well, I would say, I mean, duping is a strong word, but I would say, Mama C and Susie think that I would automatically be in with them. John, I believe, and Dan both think that we're still sticking together from our original time together because they keep making eye contact and nods and this and that to me, but I'm not trying to dupe them, but that's just really not happening. I forgot to say earlier that we want to get back to working with Adam. Nick C and our tribe has a good relationship with Adam, and we also have a good connection with Alex. So those are a couple of them that we want to pull together after the merge. So when I was saying like we're kind of presenting like we want to do an all-girl thing, really we want to get back with Adam and Alex, and we have Nick, and then just see who else they have when we get over there, and maybe keep even Steven with us.
There's 6 of us
Okay.
who are good. So
Who are the
hoping,
6?
Would be me, Sunday, Abby, Katie, Nick H, and Steve.
Leaving your last 2 picks, Trisha and Dan, at the bottom.
Yep.
Why them?
Dan, I don't think has had as easy. I don't know how to word it. As easy of a. He hasn't been able to really move around in the tribes that he's been in a lot, so I think it's hurt him in the long run being with the same people over and over. So I, kind of, and I really like Dan a lot. He's a great guy. I know he wants to be involved in it, but trying to keep our tribe strong right now, and he's kind of on the weaker side of things. And I would say that sort of goes for Trisha as well, but also being on the outside from where we had originally started with the group that we're in.
I'm actually kind of an introvert. I'm kind of shy and quiet, so this whole game is tricky for me. The social part of it is, and so I'm trying to make sure I'm friendly and not, some people talk too much and can be, kind of annoying.
Who's that?
Dan's the one I've spent the most time with, and he has a lot to say, and he's kind of loud. So that was kind of why I went, rather than trying to team up with him, I felt it would be an easy sell to say to the girls, hey, let's vote him out. Let's stick together, all girls. Because back when we were males versus females, we were like, let's make sure it's 3 girls in the final 3. So I kept kind of trying to push that, and I think that's where we're going.
She obviously has connections with Adam since she played on the Survivor with him. But I think I've sort of been letting the other Nick do all the work, but he has sort of been discussing with Sunday and some of the other girls. From my perspective, at least, to vote for Dan tomorrow, and he seems like an obvious target just because I think he only has one other person from his original tribe on our current tribe right now, and that's Trisha. And I think hopefully Sunday is thinking she can reconnect with Adam, and since we have connections to Adam from our original tribe, maybe she'd be willing to work with us. We're hoping at least.
You know, we basically talked about how we were going to all vote Dan, and a few of us were trying to talk a little bit about how we might direct Dan and his vote, just so that if an idol is played, it's not one of us.
Who's that person?
Pardon?
Who's that person that you're directing Dan's
So I think
potentially
mainly
local
like
to?
Trisha and a few people have stayed with Dan previously, so they can kind of touch base with him and maybe say, okay, what are you thinking about the vote? See if he'll pop out a name first. It was kind of the strategy they were going to take, and if they weren't going to take, he wasn't going to kind of bite and give us a name or give them a name, really. They were going to say, well, what about somebody like Nick H, who's really quiet? We don't really know him that well. Both Abby and Trisha have not really ever been with Nick H before, so it's a sellable name to Dan. So they were going to try something like that, so that it was not on one of us. We were the main people that had that conversation.
So we're going to tribal council, unfortunately, because between two tribes we couldn't get LJ's basket full. And we have a plan going. I'm working with Abby and Trisha and Katie and Nick C. And he's also been talking to Steven. I haven't had a one-on-one conversation alone with him yet. And the plan right now is to vote for Dan. And that's mainly just because he just doesn't seem to fit in quite as much, and there really isn't a huge target on anyone's back in our tribe quite yet, but he did cost us in our challenge today by not following the directions.
Well, it's the same lock that I went with Trisha. I was like, Trisha, can we like open this lock together and, create this like scrappy underdog pendulum alliance? Or like, I tried to say that, but I couldn't get out the words because she wouldn't go the work of like, meeting with me. Really, like I tried to pull her aside and she'd give me the nod, but she wouldn't actually meet with me. You got to do the legwork. I got to do the legwork. I got to be with someone I can do the legwork with. And so I'm going to talk to Katie. I'm going to see what she thinks. I'm going to try to get her to come away from camp with me for a little bit so we can powwow, see if that, go on a date basically. And then see if that date works out. And if it does, which I think it will, because she's smart, I'm smart. She knows that I'm in a power of weakness, and I'm in a moment of weakness. I know that she's good at flying under the radar, but that's not going to work a few tribal councils down the line, because, we might get mat-sinned. And so, like, how do you decide which two people are going to make it to the end? That's something I got to convey to her. And if not to her, then to Steve. I got to decide between those two and Abby. But Abby's asleep right now, and that doesn't bode well for me unless she wakes up and is like, surprised. Like, Abby's smart. I could play with her if she doesn't want to be tethered to Sunday. It would be smart not to be tethered to Sunday because I'm hoping that the other tribes are smart enough to decimate the other survivors, and I want to be a part of that. But I gotta basically just get in a position with Katie where we can sort of orchestrate second-handedly the next two tribal councils being Trisha and Sunday. But if that plan doesn't work out, then I gotta scrap it all and find a new one, and I'm fine with doing that. This may be a last-minute vote. If I'm the first boot, I'm fine with that as long as I play hard tonight. That's it. I may well be the first boot. I would not be surprised if you brought up my name. Because I am, I notice how I am in social groups. I'm a writer. I'm always standing on the outside observing. If people picked up on that and ranked me as weak because of that, they'd be smart. But they'd also be foolish to realize that, not to realize that that is also a strength.
I'm comfortable with the group that I have right now because it fits in with every single iteration of my alliance that I've had. When I was with Katie and Nick, not Nick C, what's the other number?
H,
okay. When I was with Katie and Nick H, we were part of an alliance of 4. Now I'm with them again, and they're still in my alliance. When it was the guys, both of the Nicks, were in my alliance of 7. And so I'm still with them now. So I haven't had to break any alliances. Now, here's the thing. Dan thinks that he was in the alliance, that we were going to work together when they were the guys. And Dan's a great guy and everything. He just wasn't one of the 7 that we'd come up with. So he would be the expendable one right now to let Sunday and Abby and Trish think that, okay, we'll get rid of them and then we can take out the guys. And if Katie's true to her word, then we're in good shape. And Katie did come up to me and say, we need to have a boot order because tomorrow is going to be a fast day. So what order are we going to do this in? So once she said that, I felt like we're good. And, you know, it's more exhausting than I expected it to be, to have to keep track of all these conversations. Oh, you're a special ed teacher. Tell me about that. Okay. Oh, really? That's fantastic. Sunday, who was the worst snorer on your tribe? It's just to keep them from going off away from me and figuring something out. So, sure, Sunday, tell me what the worst thing is that you ate while you were out there. Go ahead and tell me. And don't get me wrong, I actually like every single person on my tribe. But a lot of the questions that I'm asking are things that I wouldn't ask a real friend. There's just things just to keep them talking about themselves so that 3 of them don't go off and just somehow realize that maybe it would be better to get rid of Steve. Because let's face it, Steve lost the challenge today. And once I realized I was up against LJ in a strength challenge, I was like, okay. Honestly, while I was holding it, I was thinking, how am I going to get out of this one? Because they're all throwing their logs into my net, and I'm about to drop this. So I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose immunity, and then all the women can be like, oh, let's just get rid of Steve. He said he was the one with upper body strength. So while I was holding it, I was trying to not start thinking numbers in my head, because I knew what was about to happen. Because I knew there was no way I was going to beat LJ, especially because the other tribe just sucked in throwing their logs into LJ. I mean, seriously. So I knew what was happening. And now I think I've got something going. Now, I could look back on this later and think this is the moment that I got cocky and thought I knew what was going on. But right now, I think there are going to be 7 votes for Dan tomorrow for the first tribal council. All of us will vote for him. And I feel bad about it because I think Dan really wants to be here. But I think if he goes, and if he's the first one to go, then Katie, Nick, and I can take out, in this order, Sunday, Abby, and Trish.
If Sunday gets past the first 2 tribal councils, she's done for the whole game. She's set, she's in, she's locked. Because she's like not good, not amazing at challenges. She's not terrible at challenges. She's friends with everyone. She's so personable. I love her. She's great. I want her gone.
The plan that we have in mind is that Dan would be taken out, leaving us with 4 members from that original red tribe group from that day 1 hike. That being myself, the other Nick, Steve, and Katie, which would give us a 4-3 majority in this tribe. I don't know if it's so obvious to the other 3 people in this tribe that would be the case. I'm not sure how well people are keeping track of like all of the combinations of people that have existed in just the past 24 hours. But my hope is that we would move forward together and potentially with Sunday to eliminate someone like Trisha or Abby, and then eventually, maybe in the next stage of the game, hook up with Adam and Candace and Bethany or the other people who were in that original group, plus a few additional people who have sort of formed relationships with some of us, like Austin.
I could be wrong, but I honestly do not feel like they're looking at me as someone that they need to get rid of. I feel like they're more just curious about how the real show was, and because I have a really personable, I'm really personable, and my social game is good, so I feel like I put people at ease, and I don't give people a reason to feel like they should be threatened by me. I've even said to a couple of the girls I'm working with, I've said, hey, do you think they're targeting the survivors? Because, no one's going to let me win, so I'm good to stay here. And they're like, no one's targeting them, that other than people have talked about Mama C and Susie. So I think they're being straight with me. I don't really think that they're looking at me as like as a target right now.
Sunday and I are talking about with doing a female alliance because we have the numbers. We think we can pull over one of the guys and perhaps vote off one of the weaker, or one of the guys, I should just say.
Okay.
Whomever that might be. I wouldn't call them weaker, but I'm just saying we're hoping to create a girl alliance.
all
We have
the
some
four
girls
women-
on the other teams that we'd like to pair up with if we should make it to a merge.
So when you say, so all the women on your current tribe are together, and you just need to sway one, so you've got Katie and Trisha on board, and
I think. I mean,
everything is
Everything
seemingly,
can always change.
it's what can you trust, what can't you, right?
right, just like the hill that we walk down to our campsite at. It's slippery and it's a slope that can go right out from underneath you.
Who's the most likely man to flip?
We're really honing in on Nick because, as I said to you before, we spent the campsite with him yesterday. Steve's new to me, and Dan, I've only played with him very early on.
I hope that it's Steve that I'm with the most. He and I have pretty much been together in every combination we've had so far. In the day one hike, the night one, tribe or whatever it was that we were obviously both on the men's side, and we were both on like the light blue group in the men's side, and he and I have like a good working relationship, at least from my perspective, and we check in on each other a lot, so I think I can count on him going forward.
We're talking about probably, it would have to be Nick H. Is it H?
Yeah, because you've got Nick C, so yeah, it's Nick H.
So the other one, so yes, Nick H. And that would mainly be because Steven would be stronger. So, hopefully we don't go to tribal 2 times in a row, but that would be the next name that we would go for.
What would make you target him? Why is Steve stronger?
Well, we just watched him a little bit in challenges today. We know that he's a bigger guy. Nick's advantage is he can run, but we just, Steven is a little bit more outspoken. And right now, the way us girls are playing it with some of the other girls on the other tribes is that we might just try and do all girls. It's really not the direction that I'm probably going to go, and it probably isn't the direction that the girls in our tribe are going, but that's the way that we're presenting it with the girls that we're connected with in the other tribes. I would say Abby's in a really good position. Abby, and that's already a consideration of mine. I'm working tightly with her, and I trust her, and I think she trusts me, but I can see already that can be an issue for me as we move closer down the line past the merge and towards the end. I don't want to be sitting next to her.
And Trisha, I will say, and I don't know Katie very well, but I like Matt, and again, I've said this before, I like everybody until you've proven me not to like you. But Trisha's very good at puzzles, and she's very good at memory things. So she's a good person to kind of, keep around as well. So I'm not eliminating her out of our thought process at all. I'm not dismissing anyone that quickly. Everyone has a strength.
When the challenges started today and I really felt like I was contributing, I was like, wow, I actually have a chance. I have a chance at this. And then that whole pecking order thing happened and I was like, crap, maybe I don't. So I think my confidence is a little shot right now. I think I'm more concerned about getting through tomorrow's tribal council and then, regrouping and showing my team what I'm good at, and hopefully they'll want to keep me around, and then I can just keep working my way up. I mean, my general strategy was try to float in the middle, show why I'm an asset, and then, hopefully weasel my way through to the end. So do I think I can win? Of course, I think I have a chance. Right now, though, the confidence is a little shot, I'll be honest.
Well, I think there's a lot of options in the merge in terms of, it's not that far away and it's far away all at the same time. But, there's still a lot of other people out there. There's Bethany and Adam and Candace. And that crew also might have a proper connection with, I think Sunday trusts Adam. So there might be some connection there, and then a chance for some of maybe my original tribe, that very first original group, Nixie, Bethany, Candace, and whoever, to maybe overtake the survivors kind of closer to the end.
I think Laura wants me gone.
Why?
I don't know why. But Laura has said things in passing to me that make me think, okay, we're probably not going to work together. And I love Laura. Let me just explain. I know Laura from outside the game. And I think Laura has made a decision that it's not in her best interest to play the game with me. And if that's what she's decided, more power to her. And I mean, good for you, Laura. Go ahead and play with somebody else. But let's see how that works out. So we have an alliance going on with Adam. We have an alliance going on with Bethany. We also have an alliance going on with Austin. That I don't know how that happened. It just sort of happened that he was suddenly part of our alliance, and we're all sitting around saying, okay, you and me. So, okay, fine, that's great. So I think Austin, I'd like to see around because I think that I could work with him. Obviously, Adam and Bethany, we had something going on beforehand. So let's keep that going. And I also think, looking at the group, I would love to see LJ stay around for a while because I would like LJ to be a target for somebody else. When it would be best case scenario for LJ to be at the merge because I think they're going to go for LJ, who was number 2 on the list, rather than Steve, who was number 3.
I have an advantage right now.
Okay, so you have it was a challenge disadvantage,
right,
correct?
Which my original tribe knows about that because we all found it together on the walk.
Yeah.
But I haven't, we talked about it a little bit today, but I don't know whether to use it at a point where maybe it's down to the 6 of us that are the strong alliance on that team and then use it, or do I just save it until the individual game happens when there's somebody that really needs to go that could be getting in the way of me getting in that final spot?
Who would put pressure on you to use it, say, tomorrow instead of Sunday, that you would say yes to? Or are there any scenarios where someone would say point blank, I'm in danger, you need to use it to save me, and you would say, sorry, dude?
Probably the three from my original tribe would probably be the ones that would persuade me to use it the most because they know about it. So if that happens and it comes to a point where it's them 3, me, Sunday, Abby, I'm sure they would probably feel a little panicked at that point in time and want to use it then. And I'm not sure what I would do at that point.